Hello everybody, welcome to the Daily Break. My name is Nick, and today we are looking at set number 6867, Loki's Cosmic Cube Escape. This set does come with 3 minifigures, that being the Iron Man in his Mark 6 armor, Hawkeye, and Loki from the beginning of the first Avengers film. This is a really cool set. It's very small, but it is a perfect size and a great representation of the scene that it's in. Unfortunately, the only part of this set that isn't actually in the original scene that this is supposed to be representing is Iron Man. Iron Man's not in this set at all, or at least in the scene at all when this is sort of going on. Hawkeye is mind controlled and he is driving one of the shield vehicles out of the collapsing Pegasus base, and it is really interesting to see that they did put Iron Man in here. I think it was just to give us another character to fight the bad guy, because Hawkeye's under mind control right now, so you wouldn't really have any options. I feel like a Maria Hill and maybe a separate car would be really cool, or maybe even Nick Fury. That would have been really, really nice, but I do really enjoy this inclusion of this Iron Man because it was an easy way to get this Mark 6 and just a really good way to get the Loki as well. So you got one of the coolest good guys in the movie, and then you've got the bad guy of the film as well, all in one go, and you also have Hawkeye. So you've only got, what, 4 others to collect, and you've got the original 6, so this was a pretty good opportunity to get at least 2 of the main Avengers, and then one of the only villain in the entire movie. We're actually going to look at the truck first, and then we will move on to the minifigs. You know the drill. We're racking these off one at a time. I did just do a bunch of other Marvel ones. I am going to try to break them up a little bit as I can. I don't want to do Marvel all in a row, so we are just going to see which ones come first, which ones come second, and hopefully Christmas Day we actually have an official Christmas set coming out. This might actually come out after that Christmas Day, so we'll see. Let's take a look at the truck. Looking at this truck, it is mostly in dark blue and some light bluish gray. I do really like this design. It's very bulky, and I love how high up it is with these really big tires. I can see that there are these flick fire missiles on the side. I know what you want me to do. You want me to shoot them, but I'm not going to because I'm going to lose them. We talk about this every single one, but I promise I'm not going to, because I'm not going to shoot them at all. There are some stickers on this set. There's actually quite a few stickers on this set. A little too many that I would like to admit there are, but they still make the thing look good. I really appreciate the SHIELD logo, not only the logo, but also the whole word SHIELD spelled out on the side. That is really cool. You kind of have the license on the back fenders. I guess that's a license. It's LFEC 68. Not entirely sure what that is. It could have been the designer of this set or just a random sequence of numbers and letters. We'll see, I guess. Yeah, this is a pretty good build just to get a nice truck, especially with the shield. If you didn't put any of the stickers on, it's still a nice truck even to have in a city, so I do really like this. It's got clips for the left and right, and this is where the tradition of the red fire extinguisher comes into play, and that is really funny to see in a set that's all the way from 2012. We do have that on one of the clips. That's on the left side of the truck. On the right, you do have Hawkeye's compound bow. We'll take a closer look at that once we actually go into the Hawkeye minifig. I did leave Hawkeye inside of the set, so that way you can sort of see him through the window right there. I am going to turn off the table so I can just open up the top, show you. You just take that off like that, and I'm pretty sure you also take the actual windscreen off, but this also has the problem where it can take the plates off with it. This one is a little bit more grippy when it comes to taking that off, so you do want to get either both sides or not at all. You don't actually have to take that off, but it's a little bit easier to get Hawkeye out of the vehicle. He just sits in a regular blue seat. There are no prints or stickers on the interior of the car. It's actually, oh, I lied. There's a 1x1 tile in there with a little gauge, and then on the right-hand side, there's a lever probably for the clutch, and then you also have like the steering wheel in the center, and that chair is just in blue. In the back of the tailgate for the truck, you actually do have this little launch pad, I guess, and this is for Loki. You're supposed to have Loki sit in the back of the truck like he does in the film, and you can have him sort of launch off. He is on a jumper plate, though, so you have to kind of set him on there loosely if you want him to go off at all, so you kind of have to do that, and yeah, he'll come off like that, and that's actually pretty cool. I like that little detail, so he'll just like fly off the back of the truck, so hopefully Hawkeye isn't going that fast. You don't want to hurt him. You want to just bring him back to Asgard. So yeah, that is a pretty cool detail. You could also have Hawkeye jump off the back and probably attack Iron Man, because again, he is under mind control, and that is the whole scene what that is about. So you can just do that, and oh my goodness, he went flying off super fast. Starting off with the minifigs, we do have Hawkeye himself. This is another figure that falls victim to the concept art design rather than the final product. I think that the torso is pretty good. I like the red highlights throughout the torso, especially that different arrow maneuvering thing on his back, like the quiver, the electronic quiver that he has. is so cool in the movie, and they nailed that. You can actually see like the little engineering little parts and gears and stuff inside, and that's really, really cool. On the front of the torso, I like the red and black jumpsuit. It's almost like a tracksuit almost. I really like that with the big strap across the front. That is obviously for his arm when he's, you know, handling the compound bow all the time. He does have no sleeves. One hand, his left hand has a glove, and his right does not. That is specifically a thing that archers do where they have only one glove to protect their fingers from shooting arrows. Makes sense. It's funny, a lot of people say that he is just having mismatched ones for no reason, which is, I think it's hysterical. I don't know why people say that. I think that it was funny. I always remember watching like stop motion things where like they would say that Hawkeye is still cooler than Aquaman just because he has a different glove. I thought that was hilarious. If any of you know what I'm talking about, comment down below. That'd be really funny if you did. If not, then I just sound crazy to you, but that's still pretty funny. This fig does have two prints, one of which the goggles on the front of the face, and he has those red eye goggles. I really like that. And on the back side of his face, he does have a disgruntled, kind of angry look. It looks nothing like Jeremy Renner. Not sure why they would use this head and go all out to make an official fig for him and not give him an accurate face print. Seems to be something that happened a lot within LEGO Marvel, and still to this day happens. He also has this nougat colored slick back hair, and honestly, again, not something that he has. He has spiky hair in the film, and it's not even this color. So again, another one of those things where it falls victim to the concept art rather than it being based on the final product. Next up, we have the Mark 6 armor. This is a fantastic Iron Man fig. I love the printing, the dark lines along the back with the gold little highlights. You can just see the different parts that can move, and you know which parts move if you've seen the movie and either Avengers or the first Iron Man. You know that this fig is almost spot on. It just looks fantastic. I love that arc reactor with the triangle there. That is clearly from Iron Man 2 when he discovers the new element, so that is a really good suit. The legs are the same that are used on the Mark 4 suit, so this is definitely something that's not exclusive to the fig. However, the torso is. That masked piece is peak in my opinion. I love this mask design. I don't like that they changed it to the new one. I like it on some of the suits, not all of them though. I think that the dark red looks really good. I do think that the new Mark 6 that we have is much better though. I think that that one has so many different highlights on it that just make it pop so much more, and it does look much, much better. However, this was a very good first try on this fig, and I do really appreciate the time that the LEGO designers put into creating an Iron Man that was, you know, for the very first wave of Avengers and Marvel that ever came out besides the Sam Raimi Spider-Man sets. Underneath that helmet, which a lot of people don't know, you can actually lift the helmet, and I'm surprised to hear how many people don't know about that. You can lift that helmet on the Iron Man. He does have a face print that looks just like RDJ, and they've been using that head for a long time. They actually did change it up within the last 5 or 6 years. I think it was Endgame when they finally gave him a new face print, so that's pretty interesting to see. Actually, no, Infinity War is when they officially changed that over. So as you can see right over here, you actually take this off, and he does have a secondary face print, and that is an angry face. That first one was just a smile, and then that second one was just a grimace or an angry face. Last but not least, we do have Loki, and Loki is an interesting fig. I love the design on him. That green cape is in that starchy fabric. It's definitely a great cape for him. The horns on his head are so good. They are rubber. The newer ones are still rubber, but they're kind of like the more plasticky rubber than anything else, so they're a little bit stiffer, and they do not bend as much as these do, which is great because these horn pieces, let me tell you, I have one myself. The horn piece is very easy to squish in the wrong direction, and it'll stay that way for the rest of its days. It's not going anywhere else. This Loki is really, really good. I am going to turn off the spindle so you can see on the front of the torso. I'm going to take his accessories away. That's his staff and also the Space Stone, which is not that color at all, but we'll talk about that in just a second. The Loki on the torso right there, or the torso on the Loki, is really good. You've got all these gold and dark green straps along this dark bluish gray torso and legs, and the printing runs from the legs into the torso really, really well. He does use the Lex Luthor face, so kind of odd choice. I'm pretty sure he does not, yeah, he does not have any sort of secondary face there, but he also does have no back printing. Man, I was just bamboozled. I thought that he did have back printing. We can put his accessories back on. He's a very plain face. They actually do, in one of the sets, give him a secondary face, as far as I know. I thought he had a smirk. might be imagining things. This staff is really cool. It's got like the ingrained grip on the handlebar right there, and then it's got the spike in the center, or the sai, and that works pretty well. I think it looks better than having the stone in there, because the stone doesn't really make sense because you're not able to just see the stone the way that the Age of Ultron sets have it. And I know you can see Loki's scepter with the Mind Stone in it, but you don't know that it's the Mind Stone until Age of Ultron happened. So not really as accurate, and I really wish they would design just a brand new mold for his scepter. That would be really cool. The Space Stone, or the Tesseract in this, they don't know it's the Space Stone just yet, is clear. Not sure why that is. It might have been another thing of concept art. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't make much sense, especially considering I feel as it... No, they would have known, because Captain America did come out way before this, so not sure why they would have made this into a clear piece. I guess that blue color wasn't made into a 1x1 brick just yet, so maybe they just need to compromise and give him a 1x1 transparent white brick. The Marvel Avengers line, or just the very first wave of the LEGO Marvel Superheroes line, is definitely an iconic series of sets that came out to the world at just the right time. I feel like superheroes were just hitting their mark, and Avengers was one of the biggest film events of all times. When that first came out, I remember seeing it in theaters, and I was only 8 years old, which is kind of ridiculous. And for anybody who's older than me, I'm sorry that I'm 8 years old. I know that's probably going to offend you, so my bad. But yeah, this set is pretty cool to see. I do really like the inclusion of the giant, almost monster truck-esque car, and the figs are all around great. Anyways, that is going to be all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.